All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO gym. And the QBO gym is a place where we have numerous exercises that simulate real life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises for you to practice and complete, and we break it down for you into 4 different sections. So today we are going to be finishing up the September warm-ups section. At the top here is a video that talks about what's going on in Craig's world that month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down below that is an interactive quiz that talks about what you just learned in the video above. And then here are all of the exercises in that section. So like I said, we are going to be finishing up the warm-up section with processing the bank fee transactions. You will need to be in the same session of the sample company that you were in for the previous exercises in this section. If you have not completed those yet, go ahead and click on the link on the top right corner of your screen. That'll take you to the first exercise. Complete that one and all the ones following it until you get back to this one. So our scenario today is that after you have input all the sales and expense transactions, it's time to process bank feeds. This means comparing what went into and out of the bank and making sure that there is a correct record of it in QBO. So to get started, we are going to first look at processing the transactions in the checking account. So to get there, we need to first in the left-hand nav bar, mouse over the transactions and then select bank transactions. So here I am in the sample company. This is the last page that I left off of from the previous exercise. That's why it looks this way. So in the left-hand nav bar, here is transactions. Hover over that and then select bank transactions. You'll also see here that the sample company already has a bookmark here for the bank transactions. You can always click on that if you'd like to go directly there. So you will see a couple of pop-ups show up. We're going to go ahead and click out of those first. So that's this one right here. It's just giving a little overview of what the bank feed looks like and what you would do here. So just go ahead and click out of that. Now we're first going to take a look at which bank transaction QBO thinks has found a match for. So to do this, we're going to filter it out and click on the all transaction field and then in the down arrow or click on the down arrow there and then select potential match. So here is that all transactions. Click on the arrow here and then we're going to select potential match. And you will see some things that say 1 match found and 2 matches found. QBO is just trying to find the matches, and what they're doing is they're looking for the amounts and seeing which ones could potentially be a match. So we're going to deal with transactions that have more than 1 match at the moment, which is the Pam sites, the Books by Bessie, and the Squeaky Clean. So let's look at the one for Pam first. In the action column of Pam's row, we're going to select View. So if we scroll down here a little bit, here is Pam's. It says 2 matches found. So we're going to click on the blue View button to see what's going on. Now, as I mentioned before, that when trying to attempt a match, QBO only searches by amount. So when we look at the options here, you'll see that there are 2 potential transactions for $75. However, if you look at the bank detail description, you'll see that this one matches the record of Pam sites. So let me show you what I mean. Here is the bank detail for Pam sites. That's what this transaction is for. If you look at these 2, there's one for an expense for Pam sites and a bill payment for Books by Bessie. You know that this is the one that we want because this is the name that is matching what is on the bank detail. So you have that radio button selected and then click the green match button. And now it is showing as 1 match is made, or that transaction has been matched. And you'll notice here that this one, Books by Bessie, the other one that it was thinking it might have been the match for, is matching to another transaction. So it's already found that match and it's already created that for you. So we have now done the one for Pam and for Books by Bessie. Which just explains that right here that QBO recognizes that now there is only one match for Books by Bessie. So now let's look at the one for Squeaky Clean Car Wash. In that transaction, that line, we're going to go ahead and click on the blue view button in the action column. So we scroll down here. Here is Squeaky Clean. It says 2 matches found. Click on the blue view button and you will see the 2 appear. Now, if you look closely at both of them, they have the same amount, but they are different types and different transaction dates. So we're going to select the one that matches the same date in the bank feed and then click on the green match button. So here you see a date, 2 different dates here for each of these transactions. We are going to match the one here that matches this date here. Now, depending on when you are watching this video or doing this exercise, you may have a different date than what I have, and that's just because the sample company is always changing dates. So it's okay if you don't see the exact same date as me. What you need to find is the date here that matches here. So it's this first one for me, this check debit, and it should be the same for you. So make sure that the radio button is selected and then click on the green match button. And now that one has been matched as well. In real life, you would want to go ahead and investigate what that other transaction is at a later time. So now at this point, we should only have single matches left on the list so we can accept them in a batch. To do this, we're going to click on the checkbox at the top of the column to select all the transactions. And then when the black bar appears, we're going to click Accept. So if you want to just double check, you will see one match found all the way through all of these transactions. So we know that they all have one match. Here, if you click on this checkbox right here, it selects all of your transactions. In the black bar here, you're going to click on the Accept button. And now all the ones that are potential matches have been matched properly. So now we need to look and see if there's any other transactions. So to do this, we need to remove the potential match filter. All we need to do is just click on the X next to it to remove it. So here's that potential match filter. Just click on the X here. And now you should see that you have 5 different transactions. So let's move on to see how we're going to handle the rest of them. So you asked Craig about the Books by Bessie transaction. On his last visit to her office, Bessie had asked Craig to trim some shrubs. He told her verbally that it would be $55, and she just sent the money without waiting for an invoice. So we cannot add sales transactions to a vendor record because, so if a vendor becomes a customer, a new customer record or account needs to be added. Since there is no invoice involved, we're just going to use a sales receipt to record the payment for the trimming. So to do this, in the plus new button, we're going to click on the plus new button and select sales receipt. So over here on the left nav bar, click on the plus new button, and then under customers, select sales receipt. And now we need to fill out the form. In the down arrow, we are going to select plus add new. Remember that even though Books by Bessie is already set up as a vendor, we can't have it as we can't use the same account as a customer and a vendor. So when they buy services from Craig, we need to establish a customer account. So click into the customer field and then select plus add new. And you will see this customer profile appear. We are going to, in the customer display name, type Books by Bessie parentheses C. And the C in that parentheses at the end of the name is just to discern the difference between Books by Bessie customer versus Books by Bessie vendor. QBO will not allow you to have a vendor and a customer with the exact same name. So that's why we need to do it. So in the customer display name, go ahead and type in Books by Bessie parentheses C parentheses. Okay. And then we're just going to click on the green save button. So click on that. And now let's fill out the rest of the sales receipt. So in the deposit field, we're going to select checking. Click on that. In the product service field, we're going to select landscaping trimming. So if you click into it and you just click into it 2 times, I'm sorry, if you start typing in trimming, you will see that one up here. So go ahead and click on that. There is a description there for tree and shrub trimming. You can leave that as is. The rate that he told her it would be is $55. It currently says $35, so we're just gonna delete that and edit it to say $55. If you tab over, you will see that QBO has updated that for us. And then we're just gonna simply save and close this. So click on the arrow here, and then click on Save and Close. And now that sales receipt has been saved. If you look, now that we have made that sale, we've added that sales receipt, it has been matched here. QBO thinks that it is a match, and it is indeed the correct one. So you're going to click on the blue match button. And now that transaction has been matched for us. All right, so Craig has told you that Ellis Equipment Rentals, his usual vendor, didn't have a backhoe available for the dates that Craig needed it, so he went to A1 Rental instead. We will need to set up A1 Rental as a vendor, so you decide to just leave those transactions for A1 alone for right now, and you'll handle them at another time. So let's take a look at the one for Hicks Hardware. Before adding, we should take a look to see if there is a transaction that should be matching. So we can use the Find Match feature right in the bank feed, but it won't help us if something is off. So let's instead take a look at the expenses list. To get there in the left-hand nav bar, we're going to hover over expenses and then click on expenses again. So these A rentals, we're going to leave those alone for right now. We're focusing on the one for Hicks Hardware. Over here on the expenses, hover over that and then click on expenses again. And you will see the list up here. We just want to look at the ones for Hicks Hardware. So to do this, we're going to click on the filter, and then in the payee field, we're going to select Hicks Hardware and then click on the green Apply button. So here is filter. If you click into it, here in the payee field, click into that, and then you will scroll down to find Hicks Hardware. If you look here when you start scrolling that there's no H for Hicks Hardware, that is because it is all the customers that are listed first. So you need to keep scrolling until you get to all the vendors, and then you will see Hicks Hardware here. Click on that, and then click on the green Apply button. And now we are only seeing the ones for Hicks Hardware. Now, if you remember in the bank feed, it was looking for one for $24.38. So we want to look for a transaction that looks very similar to the one that was on the bank feed. Just as a note that whenever there is a discrepancy, the bank is always right. So sometimes errors happen when things are entered into QBO. We're all human. It's not a big deal. We can easily edit it. So we're going to look for one that looks very similar to that $24.38. So when we find it, we are going to click on the View Edit button. Or link, excuse me. So if we look down here, here's one for $24.36. It's very close. This must be the one that was slightly off. So we're going to click on the blue View Edit link, and we will see that expense appear. So now we just need to edit that amount to $24.38 and then save and close. So here, if you click into the amount, you can go ahead and edit this to $24.38. If you tab over, you will see that QBO has updated that for us. And then we're going to click on the green Save and Close button. And now that expense has been saved. And now we need to go back to the bank feed. So to do that, again, we're going to, on the left-hand nav bar, we're going to hover over transactions and then click on bank transactions. So over here, here is transactions, click on bank transactions. And you will see here that the one match has been found for Hicks Hardware now that we have edited it. So go ahead and click on the blue match button. And that one has been matched. And we are finished with the checking account with matching or processing the bank feeds for the checking account. Again, we are going to do the ones for a rental at another time. So for right now, we can just leave it as is. All right, so now the checking is done for right now. We're going to move on to the savings account. So to do this, you need to go to the savings account by clicking on the savings tile, which is right here at the top. Click on that, and you will see that there is just one transaction in here, and it is finding that match. QBO is finding that for us, so we can go ahead and click on the blue match button. And now the savings account has been all set. And that is what step 2 is telling us to do. So the checking and savings are all situated for today. And now we are just going to focus on the MasterCard. So to start with the MasterCard, we need to click on the MasterCard tile, not title. So click on that tile and you will see all of the transactions that are here. Some are finding a match immediately, some have 2 matches, and then this one doesn't have anything at all. So let's start with the easy ones. We're going to select the checkbox next to all the ones that have 1 match found and then click on the accept button when it appears. There should be a total of 4 for you. So Lara's Lamination, the one for Bob's Burger, the one for Norton Lumber and Building Materials, and then the one for Tanya's Nursery. So you have 4 selected. Go ahead and click the accept button. And now we should only have 3 remaining. So you'll see that there are 2 transactions for Squeaky Clean that are for the exact same amount. We can assume that they are for 2 car washes that are on different dates. So to the right of the first Squeaky Clean transaction, we're going to click on the blue view button to see what it is. So click on the view button right here. And you will see here that there are 2 different transactions. We're looking for the one, since they are the same amount and the same vendor, we're looking for the one that has the date that matches up here in the bank feed. So for me, it is September 1st, and this one says September 1st, so I'm going to click on it. Again, remember that the sample company is always changing the dates, so the dates that I have here, you may not have on yours. So you have that one selected, and then you can click on Match. And you will see that that one matched, and then it has also matched the other transaction for us. So we're going to click on the blue match button there. And now we just have the one transaction left. All right, so Craig told you that Amazon sent the wrong software and that he returned it. The remaining transaction on here shows the return credit. So we need to click on the Amazon transaction and then click on the vendor customer field and then add new. So let's go ahead and click on Amazon here. And you will see here this vendor customer section. Click into it and then click plus add new because we don't have Amazon in here as a vendor. In the contact type, we need to select vendor. The vendor name display should be Amazon, and then we're going to save it. So up here, that contact type, I mentioned this in a previous video that sometimes you need to be, depending on what you are doing in QBO, it'll just assume that it's a customer, like for this instance, or it'll assume it a vendor. Just make sure you always check to see that it is the correct type that you are looking for. So for this one, Amazon is a vendor, so click on vendor. And then in the display name, go ahead and type in Amazon. And then go ahead and click on the green save button. And now they have been added here as the vendor. We are in the account field going to select office expenses, and then in the memo field, we just want to make a note about what this is for. So we're going to say that it is a refund for wrong software item. So here in the account, if you click into this and you start typing in office, you will see office expenses. Go ahead and click on that. And then in the memo field, we said it was return, wait, let me see, refund for wrong software item. So refund for wrong software item. Refund for wrong software item. There we go. And then we're just going to click on the green add button. And now that transaction has been matched as well. And we are finished processing the bank feeds today. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. Be sure to leave this session of the sample company open, as you will need it for the next exercise in our cardio section, where we focus on setting up a corporate credit card. And I will see you in the next video.